Hey guys, welcome to Hair History of the 1960s. Now the 60s take one trend from the 50s and really build upon that, and that is the beehive. The 60s are all about the height. Make your hair sky high. In fact, hair hasn't been this high since the 18th century, when we did the crazy powdered giant bouffant. The 60s are once again a decade where fashion is valued over beauty. These hairstyles weren't necessarily the most flattering for women, not really enhancing natural beauty as you would say, but women thought they were fun and they loved them. So they walked proudly with their hair in the clouds. Now, as for length in the 60s, a lot is permitted, just no excesses. So nobody really had very short hair and nobody really had very long hair. I'd say from about ear to collarbone length is pretty much the standard, and this is the easiest length to achieve these kind of big voluminous hairstyles with. And if you have this length of hair, you can make your poof in the top and then have your hair just fall down and kind of curl forwards towards the face. That was a very popular hairstyle in the 60s and a pretty iconic one as well. Although if you had longer hair, you could always wear your hair in updos. Many updos were popular in the 60s, and especially during nighttime, updos were the preferred hairstyle. So you had braids and knots and buns and all types of things that were preferably stacked on top of the head again to get that height. If you had shorter hair, also there was no need to fret because there were wigs everywhere. In the 60s, wigs and hairpieces were once again taking flight, and they were incredibly popular. You had your little headband wigs, which were basically just a headband that you could wear right here, and then you would have a complete hairstyle attached to the back, so basically only the front would have been your own hair. But there were full wigs available as well, and shorter, smaller pieces like just a simple bun were available too. The advancements in hair coloring technology that started in the 50s continued in the 60s, and more extravagant things were done with hair dye to the hair. Women started wearing highlights as we do today, or balayage as we would call it, only they called it differently of course. They would wear contrasting colors in their hair, and the same thing was true for hair pieces. You could choose a wig with blonde hair if you had dark hair and have it be a fun contrast. It was popular at the time. So wigs didn't necessarily have to be your own natural hair color, and it was kind of widely accepted that women wore wigs. When it was visible, it didn't really matter because wigs were kind of a pricier thing and it was okay to show them off. And some women would even wear a different color of wig every single day. And another huge trend of the 60s is the fringe. Pretty much your iconic 60s look always has a fringe, and it really made a comeback in this decade. So you had your blunt bangs, you had your kind of sparse PC bangs, pretty much everything is possible side swept, didn't really matter, but something covering the forehead was very popular. So this hairstyle that I'm wearing today would be a typical 60s hairstyle. I'm combining a couple of trends here. I have the poof, I have my bangs. My hair is a little bit too long, as always, as always in the 20th century, but we can deal with that, so I say let's jump into the tutorial. So I'm going to start by making my faux bangs, and for that I'm first going to comb my hair forward to kind of train it to go in this direction so that it doesn't split open too much, which it does anyway, but trying to kind of control it. So then I'm going to separate out a pretty thin section of hair from the front here, just on one side, and I'm going to try and kind of twist that downwards and inwards like I'm doing here, and I'm using my finger to guide it in the right direction. And I'm kind of trying to make a fringe shape with this. And then by pulling out at the other side, I'm kind of making it more airy and light and natural looking. And then I'm going to take my tail and just pin that down on the side of my head, and I'm going to cover that with hair later so you won't be able to see this at all. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So like I mentioned, my hair does split down the center a little bit, but it doesn't matter. This was a look that was worn anyways, so that's okay. Now moving on to the big poof. I'm going to start by taking a small section of hair from the crown of my head, and I'm going to tease this. I'm not going to tease it all the way because my hair is pretty long, but just let's say about halfway down. Then I'm going to take another section from right in front of it and tease that as well. And I'm going to do this to all the sections, pretty much all the way up to my bangs, and just leaving a tiny little strip of hair bare. So when I've done that, I'm going to slightly comb over this to make the top smooth and the sides as well, and to kind of give it a nice shape. So then I'm going to take these kind of remaining front pieces here, and I'm going to divide those into two with a nice little middle parting, and then bring them around the poof and pin them together in the back. This is going to kind of get those pieces out of the way and also help support my poof because now it is pinned and it won't go out of shape as quickly. So you can decide to leave it like this, but since my hair is a little bit on the longer side, I decided to pull it back into a low ponytail, just to give a little bit more of a 60s vibe. So then I'm just going to pull my ponytail over my shoulder, and there is your 60s hairstyle done. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and thank you so much for watching. Next week we are going to go over the 70s. I'm really excited. So if you did like this video, don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe for more hair history videos. I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!